years of strength, will and desire, building a future for me and you. Let's get inspired and shine the spotlight on the CUSW. Hello and welcome to the CUSW Spotlight Podcast, brought to you by the Canadian Union of Skilled Workers, established in 1999. CUSW has been empowering its members and shaping the future of skilled trades for over 25 years. In this podcast, we shine a spotlight on the people, stories, and values that make CUSW a strong and dynamic community. It's an exciting time to be part of this union, and we're here to celebrate the journey, achievements, and dedication of skilled workers. So turn up the volume and let's get started. Here's your host for the CUSW Spotlight Podcast, Mr. 𝗦𝗳𝗏𝗵𝗲.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this episode of the CUSW Spotlight Podcast. Today, we're joined with Steve McKellar. Steve has been a member of the CUSW for 10 years now, and is the kind of guy that represents the CUSW with the CUSW spirit that we all truly love. He's really done a lot of things. He's been advocating, mentoring. He's a trainer. He takes a lot of action, takes a lot of effort in our union. And we're really, really glad to be shining the spotlight on Steve today. Hey, Steve, how are you today?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, doing really good. Thanks for joining us. Really glad to have you on the show.
Happy to be here.
Can you tell the audience at home a little bit about yourself? I told them you've been with the CUSW for 10 years, but tell us how you got into the CUSW, and I believe you wear a few hats in the CUSW. Can you get into that a bit?
I definitely do. The background story before I got here is pretty long and complicated, but I decided like 10 years ago that I wanted a change of career, and powerline technician seemed like the right way to go. One of my neighbors told me about CUSW. I applied and was accepted and started an apprenticeship, completed my apprenticeship, got my red seal as a powerline technician, and then sort of looking to expand. And I'd always had an interest in health and safety, so they were looking for volunteers to be nominated for health and safety rep, and I took that and was voted in and did that for quite a few years. Like I said, I've always enjoyed helping with health and safety. Like, it's such an important part of the workplace. While I was doing that, I was offered a capacity building rotation within the union. So I left the workplace and went to work directly for the union for 6 months. I worked with several of our contractors. I was all over the province of Ontario. It gave me, and that was the whole intent of it, it gave me a better understanding of how our union works, not just at my place, but as a whole. So not just as a health and safety rep, but for some of the other contractors, I acted more like a union steward, helping them navigate their own collective agreements and helping their union stewards and health and safety reps understand what their duties were. And then before I came back to the workplace, I joined the Health, Safety and Wellness National Committee, again, to help promote health and safety within the union as a whole, not just my workplace.
Can I interrupt you one second here? I noticed you and I are both similar to age. I think you're a little bit younger than me, but no offense, you're not a spring chicken, that's for sure. And to be with CUSW for only 10 years, that leads me to believe that you have a lot of life experience pre-CUSW and pre your linesman training.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that, just to give us a little bit of who you were before you joined the union side here, or with the CUSW side?
Yeah. I'll give you the Coles Notes version, I guess. Sometime after high school, I went to college for cartography and GIS. Got a job in British Columbia doing that for the better part of a decade. I was in an office doing mapping for oil and gas companies. As part of that, I got the opportunity to do field surveying, which I really liked. Got married, had children. There was an opportunity for my wife to do schooling for her RN back in Ontario. We asked if I could move and work remotely from home, and they said yes. So we decided to move back to Ontario where family was. And that lasted about a year, and they canceled the remote worker program told me I had to move back to BC, and I said, no, I don't. So that left me kind of unemployed briefly, but I went and did carpentry for a few years. And then I joined CUSW. I got laid off from a carpentry job. And I think the next week I was employed with CUSW on a solar farm. That contract came to an end, and it was the same thing. Like, I was done Wednesday, put my name in for the apprenticeship, and they brought me on, I think Monday I started, February 29th. So I've only actually worked there like 4 years now.
You're very similar to a lot of us CUSW workers that have other world experience before joining the CUSW and getting into even the electrical trade in general. So we're glad to have you on board.
And I guess my health and safety stuff, some of that when I was in BC, I had joined search and rescue. So I had done ground search and rescue, helping people. When I moved back to Ontario, I joined the fire department. So I was a volunteer firefighter. And being on the road so much as a lineman, I had kind of gotten out of the firefighter. I'd stepped away from that. So it was nice to continue in a helping role.
Yeah, like you're a well-rounded individual, that's for sure. Like most of us, you don't have like a plan in life. Sometimes just things happen and you got to roll with it, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Gotta make the best of what you have. So.
Yeah, exactly. Carry on with your CSW involvement. I really sorry for interrupting like that. I hope it didn't mess up the flow of the conversation here, but I just felt we needed to know a little bit of back history before we got into who you are right now.
I guess the other thing was, having been the health and safety rep for a while, powerline technician for a while, I was looking for a little bit of a change and managed to step into a trainer role. I've only been doing that a year now. But in stepping into the trainer role, I've also joined the Powerline Training Committee within CUSW. So I'm training our apprentices within my workplace and helping guide the overall training program for all of our apprentices. Trying to make sure people are successful and get help and knowledge where they need to. We've done skills transfers so people can get the skills they need through the union if they maybe can't get it at the workplace they're currently at.
Right.
That's been a good experience.
For sure. Do you get to actually witness and to view the changes in the people that you're influencing with these experiences? Like, I know that being in front of a classroom and helping advocate for health and safety and for the training into things, you must be changing some lives and you must be able to see it.
Sometimes it's like, I know I've been at the school helping instruct there, and watch somebody come a long way in the short 2 weeks they're at the school, and then send them off into the field and maybe never see them again. So
Yeah.
Actually, we just did interviews in Sudbury this week for new apprentices at Cambrian College. And while I was there was a co-op student that we had. I think he was there in the spring, just happened to be walking by the office we were in, and, "Hey, Steve, how's it going?" Took me a minute to recognize him, but so he's back in school doing his last year there now, and is hoping to come back with my employer. I guess June he'd be done, and he said he was hoping to come back with us. So that's kind of exciting to see.
Yeah, and with being a trainer for only 1 year so far, you're already seeing the seeds that you planted last year starting to sprout a little bit. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's very exciting.
I was told that you were on some sort of committee or inquisition where there was some legal formalities where you were being asked to participate in with some lawyer talk and this sort of thing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're talking about the inquest. So we had an accident in our workplace. I guess that would have been 2017 now. So time flies. But 4 of our workers were killed. Well, 3 CUSW members and the helicopter pilot were killed in a workplace accident. And I didn't get involved until later in the process. So it had gone through Ministry of Transportation does an investigation, Ministry of Labor does an investigation, the employer did an investigation. All of that was completed kind of before I became a health and safety rep. And during the process, different people had moved on and came in and out of it. And I became a health and safety rep as one of the previous members had stepped away. And because I was the rep in that area, I was invited to the coroner's inquest. which was an interesting process because it invites the employer, members of the affected family were, I think one of them spoke directly, but most of them through a lawyer were able to ask questions that the employer had to answer for and explain the reasons why and what they'd done. I guess the point of the inquest is really it's prevention. They want to make sure that the employer has done everything they can to prevent an accident like this from happening again. So it was lots
Yeah, there's
of,
always something you can learn from any sort of incident or situation we're in.
yeah, there's lots of documents to read through, and it's also interesting to see, the different points of view and concerns that I'd read over all the documentation, and my perception of the act versus some families who probably hadn't read what I had read. They had very different concerns about what had taken place there.
Yeah, especially with such a sensitive topic,
Yeah.
people's emotions are at the brink, kind of thing. The emotions are so high. It's a really difficult position for anybody to be in. I've been in a similar situation myself, and I know it's hard on everybody involved. That's for sure. It's a big ripple effect. I'm sure you've witnessed it firsthand with this experience.
Like I was in the workplace when that happened. So I was involved. I knew all of the guys. I still work with a lot of guys that were around when that happened. And I've been on the helicopter since that incident. And it makes you think every time. But at the same point, that in my mind was one of the less dangerous parts of the job. The way they were using the helicopter was to get from one site to the next. They weren't doing the air stair stuff, which seems dangerous or anything like that.
But you do take it for granted how dangerous these machines are and the capacity for danger that they hold. We just have to be always so diligent.
It's wild comparing search and rescue in BC and pilots working in the powerline trade are both very skilled pilots. They need a lot of hours and experience. But I've also, with the fire department, worked with the Orange Air Ambulance. Our pilots will fly down underneath the power line and land on the ground in a 60-meter wide right away. Orange requires 100 square meters clear, flat land, perfectly cleaned, or they will not land. So and they're experienced pilots too. So,
oh yeah, it's a whole different ball of wax when you've got an air stair hanging off the side of the helicopter, and then now you're in control of that man hanging off the edge of the helicopter on top of controlling everybody in the helicopter. That's a big job. Like the stress, I don't know how those guys even do it. Like myself, I'm an airplane pilot, and totally different ball of wax, I'd have to say.
I don't think I knew that about you.
Yeah, just my private license. I'm not a huge pilot or anything, but it's something I've loved since I've been a teenager.
I've thought about it, but I'm also diabetic, which sucks. But I can get a private pilot's license where you can only fly with one passenger, I think. I looked into it years ago because I really wanted to. But then I was like, well, I've got a wife and kids. If I can't fly them all, I'm never bothered looking into it any further.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to.
Yeah, it's fun. We can talk about planes and cars and all the fun stuff in life, but getting back to what we were talking about with the helicopter incident, it's just one of those topics that's just so hard to talk about. Yeah. Okay, let's change the subject. Do you want to talk maybe about your job as a trainer?
We could. That's been sort of a roller coaster too. So I've gotten a lot more traveling, gotten to meet even more of our members. I've actually trained, except for the far northwest end of the province, I've trained people from pretty much everywhere else now. And I've done some traveling. As I said, I was in Sudbury last week. I've been in Southern Ontario. I've taken a number of courses to prepare myself to train others. This week, I was getting ready for working at Heights training, a train the trainer course, because it's not the Ministry of Labor that's over that, but it's a government agency anyways, oversees it. So it's not just meeting the employer's qualifications, it's meeting government's qualifications as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm a little disappointed in myself. I don't know much about the Build a Dream program, but we've got two, I believe they're high school ladies coming to join the workplace for 6 weeks through that program. And I'm going to meet them next week to give them their orientation lessons.
Nice. Are they coming from BC or are they Ontario girls?
I believe they're both Ontario girls.
Okay, perfect. Nice.
I think. Like I said, I was kind of called on short notice for this and not given a lot of
Right.
information.
For the viewers at home, can you explain a little bit what the Build a Dream is about? Okay.
I actually don't know much about it. I believe it's a high school age program to get women involved in the trades at a younger age because in the last few decades, getting anyone involved in the trades hasn't been pushed enough, in my opinion. And this is a program to raise interest in the high schools. I believe we send tradeswomen into the schools to give talks and presentations and hopefully raise some interest. Like I
Yeah,
said, I'm not
exactly.
certain of the program. I haven't had much involvement until now, so hoping they'll teach me some. So
Yeah, there's always something to learn, that's for sure. With your involvement with CUSW, being an advocate and being a trainer, and kind of running a full gamut of responsibilities and roles within CUSW, is there anything that you're really proud of to be a part of with the CUSW within your roles?
I'll let you know in a few months. I'm involved in bargaining with one of our bigger clients right now, and I'm very excited to see how this opportunity goes, but I don't know if everybody thinks I did a poor job, then I might not be too proud of it when it's all said and done. But
Yeah,
but it's a larger committee to discuss sort of the background for the collective bargaining, and I'm excited to be a part of it and to help. It's something that's been a problem with Lines is there's not a lot of our members involved in the running of the union. This
right.
union's run by the members, and there are some of our workers that like to complain and don't like to get involved. I've stuck in there and gotten involved everywhere I can because I want the powerline techs to have a voice within the union. And that's
Yeah.
one I'm very excited to see how this turns out.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Fantastic. I'm just curious, Steve. This is an elections year coming up. With all of the voting and the initiating that's going on, how are the elections affecting you? And where do you see the elections changing things with us going on in the future?
That's actually another hat I'm wearing is I'm on the elections committee as well. So I've been helping organize the elections. For the reps and the stewards within the power line trade, there'll be new people brought in and some old ones will definitely want to stay around. And a lot of the people that I suspect will keep their positions have a lot of good knowledge and have been around for a while and love to share and help bring up new members. And even if all of the representatives were replaced, the people in the background that are brought in to help guide new reps and new stewards, they do a fantastic job. The training has come a long way, even in the time that I've been doing the health and safety rep. I know I kind of felt when I first started a little just thrown into it without direction, but we have regular meetings now where you have the opportunity to ask reps from different areas what they're doing and how they're doing it. They've brought in a variety of training for us from dealing with WSIB to how to do a grievance, and they share the training with both the health and safety rep and the stewards.
It's really, no one's really going in blind. Like
No, not anymore.
I noticed that's kind of like a theme with how our union seems to work, where a lot of us, we put up our hands blindly, like, yeah, we'll volunteer. We don't know what we're putting our hands up for, but we do have enough faith in the people backing us that they're gonna guide us and show us the right way, even though we're going in blindly. It's nice.
Again, that's another one of the great things about our union is it's so member driven. The people that are there have been where you're at now. Like
Yeah,
somebody started blindly too and was shown the way, and we're all aware of that, so we all help each other.
exactly. Yeah.
It's much more of a family than it is a business.
Yeah, it honestly, it gives all of us a certain sense of confidence that I just know we all appreciate, and it really helps us do our jobs when you have that confidence and you just know someone's going to back me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we're doing something wrong, someone's going to maybe like give you a nudge on the shoulder and say, "Hey, this might not be the way we want to go with this," and to have a conversation, and then it's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. Thanks."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good trade for that. And like I said, I've had one other experience with unions in my life, and it left me kind of sour towards unions, and this has just given me a very different perspective.
Yeah, myself, I've always worked union since I've been a young man. And my dad was a union man, so I just kind of followed those steps. And I could see the difference at a young age, that just in the paycheck difference between my non-union worker friends
Oh, yeah.
and my other ones who were union workers. And I've done a little bit of both back and forth, not really in construction, but working other different types of industries, non-union, and seeing how things work that way. And yeah, it just makes sense to have a conglomerate of effort, people behind you working for the same goal. Representation makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I'm speaking about your worker representation role in general with CUSW. With the upcoming elections this year, is this going to change your role as a representative with the CUSW, or does it affect anything with you in general? Or can it?
It definitely can. So the national committees are all appointed. You have to be nominated to it, but then you're sort of appointed by the executive board. So people don't usually get voted off of them. So my involvement at a higher level will still be there. I sort of stepped away from the rep role as I became the trainer. The employer considers me a foreman as a trainer, and I didn't want that conflict of interest doing both jobs. Supervisors shouldn't be the rep because they have different responsibilities. So
yeah, definitely conflict of interest for sure.
Yeah, but since I've been in the position and realized I'm not really doing supervision, I've left myself open to be nominated. I don't know if I will or not. I'm quite willing to go back to it because I enjoyed that position and I enjoyed helping people. But if not, I will hopefully keep my spot on the other national committees I'm involved with, and we'll have new members hopefully come in. Hopefully more power line technicians will join, and I'll get to show some of them the ropes and help get new people involved and show them what this union can do.
I take note of that, all you power line technicians out there. You might be voluntold here pretty soon.
Well, I plan to nominate some people, whether they want to or not. But they have the opportunity to say no, but
Yep.
yeah, I think some of them also
Well,
might not know what opportunities are there to be nominated for. So if they get that, it might push them into it.
yeah, exactly. And it might just raise awareness. That's all we need sometimes, just a little bit of awareness and say, oh, maybe that does sound interesting. Let me try this out. After your 10 years being involved in the CUSW, holding all these different roles, all the different things you do for your active participation in the union, is there anything you're looking forward to in the next coming year?
Bargaining, I'm excited by. That'll be this spring, and really taking on more duties as the trainer. So I'm a trainer at the workplace, but we've been talking about doing more classes within the union, and I might get the opportunity to do some training for the union. That would be exciting, just to again help other members, not necessarily in my own workplace, but outside. I think that would be a good opportunity. So
Yeah, like training the fellow union members about the Constitution and the form and functions of the union, that sort of thing.
that, but also I'm registered to teach the Joint Health and Safety Committee member courses. So I can actually
Okay.
teach them those to help get our reps in different workplaces certified. A certified rep has more responsibility within the workplace. I really enjoy teaching other people new stuff, so sharing
Nice.
knowledge.
Yeah, I know with being a trainer, that's how I got into public speaking and professional speaking, was taking a course called Train the Trainer. And part of the course was doing a 10-minute presentation to the class. And I never had much experience public speaking. I never had a problem speaking in front of people, but to do it professionally for a real reason, it was out of my wheelhouse. But it's one of those things, you try something new and it just kind of works. But that Train the Trainer course gave me a new perspective and a new appreciation of the teachers and the trainers that I've had teaching me along the way, because it's just not that easy, especially when you have 30 different people in a group. You got 60 different eyeballs looking at you. It changes things, that's for sure.
Adults too is a different, kids, if you're at least a little bit interesting, they'll pay attention or whatever. Adults, it takes more to engage them, to have them not secretly down looking at their phones. And
Yeah. Yeah, and then adults have had like so many years to develop their preconceived notions of what they believe, and you have to break that down sometimes before you can change it.
Yeah.
I've run into that lots over the years of doing my safety conferences and presentations, where sometimes they kind of need a little bit of shock value just to wake them up and say, hey, this is like real world stuff we're talking about here. This is life-saving stuff we're talking about here. It's not just go to work and collect your paycheck. We're talking about keeping you alive.
Funny, you said training kind of led you to public speaking, and I still wouldn't consider myself good at public speaking, not big on it, but I'm quite happy to be in front of a fairly large group teaching them something, which
Yeah,
I guess is the same, but it doesn't always feel the same.
I've seen you demonstrate your professional speaking skills on many different occasions. And you're one of the few guys that when you're speaking one-on-one, it's the same Steve that's speaking when you're speaking in front of 30 or 300 people. It's just who you are. So I think most everybody relates to that and can appreciate, okay, this guy is just telling us the way it is. There's no smoke and mirrors going on with Steve McKellar.
I don't have the memory to like not be the same person. There's
Yeah.
just one me.
Yeah, it's true. We've had an awesome conversation, Steve. I knew it wasn't going to be a difficult one. I don't know how many years you and I have sat together in boardrooms like elbow to elbow, at least 3-4 times a year for 4 or 5 years now, at least.
Yeah.
It's been a great experience getting to know you. I really admire you for how dedicated you are to the union. You're one of the guys that you have a full plate all the time. And someone says, can we add another pork chop? You put your plate up and you take it. Like, I don't know how you do it, man, but we all truly appreciate all the work you do. And on a closing note, is there anything that you'd like the membership, the audience, just the world to know about Steve McKellar? Or is there anything that you'd just like to pass along?
I don't know about anything about myself, but as a message to pass along, just be kind to each other. That's costs nothing. And yeah,
That's a beautiful sentiment. And we're talking about being professional speakers and speaking, and that is actually one of the lines I use when I end my professional presentations, talking about my accident. It's being kind to people because it changes everything. And I believe being kind is actually one of the most important aspects of workplace health and safety. If you treat everybody with genuine kindness, safety is automatically going to be your first concern.
yeah, if you're concerned about each other, you'll watch out for each other.
Yeah, and that's how the CUSW family actually works. So from one family member to another, Steve, I truly thank you for being on the show today. And for all you members at home, if you want to get in contact with Steve, get in contact with myself, please refer to the end of the show, and you can find all our contact information there. Maybe you have some show suggestions. Maybe you want to be a guest on the show. We want to hear from you. Get in touch with us. Thanks again, Steve. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. And until we shine the spotlight on another one of our CUSW members, take care, everybody. Thanks again, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you for shining bright in the CUSW Spotlight. Let's get inspired and shine a spotlight on CUSW.